I'm your host, Shaman Williams, and we have a awesome guest with us today. But first and foremost, make sure that you subscribe to the Carolina Conversation on your podcast platform, and make sure you put a like. And if there's anything that you can put on there as constructive criticism to help me become a better podcast host, please do that. But going back to our guest, this is one of my brothers, and we've been in many battles together, and I love him a great deal. And he was one of the very few to attend the University of North Carolina from outside the United States. He was part of the three Amigos class that came in 1995 with Antoine Jameson and Vince Carter. But more importantly, he was the glue to what went on through that 95 to 99 campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great individual in the Berlin Assassin. His name is Ademola Okulaja.
How you doing, Shaman? You were always good. You were always great at introducing and introducing and setting all of us up so we look good. Thank you again, Mr.
Well, I mean, you guys look good on your own. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, you guys did encourage yourself. I mean, as great individuals, not just on the court, but off the court, and not just during our time at the University of North Carolina, but also as adults. And so, the best thing about this for me is I just get to tell the truth, and the truth speaks for itself. So it's not like I have to make anything up or lie about anything. I can just, hey, you know what? Say what's on my heart and what I believe, and know what is to be true. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking a little bit tired.
I know.
Because it's winter over here everywhere, and usually I like to be somewhere in the sun, but now with COVID, ain't no traveling, no nothing. So I'm here. I'm good. Can't complain.
Good. Well, I want to first and foremost thank you for participating on the Carolina Conversation. As most people may not know, you're in Berlin, Germany, your hometown right now, and it's in the evening there, and so to take the time to spend with you, brother, I really, really appreciate it. And I also offer this too. Since you're so close, I mean, if you can get through the protocols, you're always welcome to go down to my spot in Valencia. I mean, I love to have you there. You can, sit on the beach. I don't know how much sun you're gonna get, but it may be a little warmer than where you are right now.
Definitely, and I'm definitely going to hold you up to that. The minute I can leave, I'm getting on that plane. I hope we have a direct flight, and I think in 2.5 hours max.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Then I'll go through the restaurants and be like, yeah, put it on Shaman's tab.
Well, I mean, people may not know, but you also played in Valencia as well, so you set it up for me nice. So the restaurants and everything just as well as I do. But having Ademola back in Valencia, I mean, you'll have a free tab, man. Free tab, something that we couldn't get in college because of Coach Smith.
Yeah, but it was a great time in Carolina, also in Valencia. I mean, two different spots, but still great places.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that at the back end of the interview. But we like to circle back to 1994, 1995, when there was a young, vibrant, exciting player in Germany on the national team and held in high regard by Henrik Rodel. What made you come to the University of North Carolina?
It's really simple. I mean, back in the days, there was not all this social media and streaming and everything that you could see everything, live or on the dot. And Carolina was one of the top 3 universities known in the world. Back in the days, it was, I believe, UCLA, Georgetown, and Carolina that's, people worldwide still today walk around with jerseys in any country. It's Africa and India and China and Germany, everywhere. And then if you get a call from that school / from Dean Smith, I think there's really not much here to think about, So I got the call, I got the connection, like you said, from Hendrik Roll. He, of course, was there 4 years. He won the championship. So I got a couple of insights from him. Of course, it came for the recruit, but before I got in the plane for the recruit visit, I was like, I don't need it. I can sign before I get in the plane. And then, Dean Smith was over here. It was over here, and that already was already made my career. Because I could say, look, Dean Smith was in Berlin, in my living room, or my mom's living room, and we ate dinner together. Wow, that's all I needed. So, so yeah, it was quite simple. Then I came for the recruiting visit, and I told that Dean Smith back in the day, I said, I think you put something in a magnet or something into the rim, because when I watched practice, then y'all went in because you were already there. That was your freshman year. Mm-hmm. Then y'all went in. So I, of course, snuck on the court and shot some hoops, shot some baskets. And honestly, I don't think I missed. And I shot like forever. And I said, wait a minute, I'm making every shot. I'm trying to, look, if I come here, I'm gonna make 20 points. And of course, the floor, the arena, coming from Europe, that size of arenas we are not used to. Right. It was 22,592 seats. Yeah. Right. I was playing in front of 3,000, 5,000, and then at 95 for one game, I played in front of 10,000. I was like, wow. But that was it. And then all of a sudden you come in the arena, all blue, the tar, everything, the court, the quality, it was the locker room. It's never seen before. But most of all, watching practice and the people, how practice went, how organized it was, how respectful and determined Dean Smith and his whole staff was. Everything was on a tee, bop, bop, bop. And he was never screaming. He never even raised his voice. Pulled some guys to the side if they needed to, spoke to them. They got back on the court, kept going. And I'll say, wow, that's how practice should run. And it seemed like a great team chemistry just watching practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one thing that you probably have to deal with that most potential student athletes leaving high school had to deal with at that point in time, especially being in Europe, was making a decision to go to college as opposed to making a decision to start your professional career.
Yeah.
So how was that process? Was there a process involved in that? Because you were highly regarded, not just in Europe, but also in the United States. But, what ultimately allowed you to say, I'm just going to take this college route as opposed to just becoming a professional, which, like I said, you'd have been highly regarded there in especially Berlin and all the
it was my background is quite humble. It was my mom brought up my brother and I, and we had everything, or she made sure we had everything we needed. But looking back, I know it was, it was sufficient, but it was not. It was good. I'm super happy with my mom did
it. It wasn't extravagant. Yeah.
Not even close.
Right.
So, but I was amateur. I was still going to school. From school, I got up at 6 a.m., got ready, went to school, came home, ate, went straight to practice, And then sometimes I came home like late, 8, 9 p.m. And then as I had to do homework, I could barely keep my eyes open. So that was the first part that was intriguing, to come to the States so I can get an education and play basketball on a very high level, where it's structured and where it is targeted for you to be successful on and off the court.
Mhm.
In Germany or in Europe in general, it's hard to do both at the same time at a young age. When you're early and you got a certain rhythm, and okay, I got 2 or 3 hours a day free, you can do, like long distance schooling. But I
Right.
wanted to go to college, get the experience.
Mhm.
And of course, the same way I was recruited to go to college, I was also recruited from pro teams.
Mhm.
And yes, Berlin wanted me to stay in Berlin, and they really recruited me, and it was like they recruited me very hard.
Right.
But for my priorities was education, new experience, new challenge, um, new adventure.
Mhm.
Plus, my brother, he's a year older. But at that time in Germany, you still had the military. You had to go to military. Either you went to the army, or you had to do 1 year of civil service, help in the hospitals, or there were different things you could do.
Right.
He did that. He helped in a elderly home for elderly people.
Mhm.
So then we were, because he was 1 year older, he was then finished. We were finished at the same time where we could leave. But while he was doing his civil service, he wanted also to study in college. And actually, he was the whole college process. He started before me. And then he got accepted in several universities, and one of them was the Carolina.
Mhm.
And then later on, the whole thing with Carolina started with me, and then I was like, of course, my brother's accepted. I'm going, we can go abroad to the States, one of the top universities, and we can do it together. You know, it was a very quick decision.
Right. 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 And I was going to bring that up. I mean, and so here comes 95. Ademola and Adekola hit the University of North Carolina campus. And so, changing, your culture, a change of environment, where you were just on campus just for a weekend for an official visit. Now you're here. Now you're at the campus and you're going to enroll, and part of the basketball team. How were those things for you when you first got to campus?
It was a culture shock. I was super happy that I was there with my brother.
Mhm.
Um, so background, like you said, I come from Berlin. Berlin is it's a huge city. It's like New York. You go from A to B, and that's the straight line. You don't talk to anybody. You don't look at anybody. You just go. Get
Right.
stuff done. So I come to Carolina, to the south, on campus, and I'm 6'9". So everybody, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? They're greeting me, and I'm like, I looked at my brother. Do you know him? I was like, nah. Do you know? I said, no. I don't know why they're speaking to us. Maybe they want something. Keep going, keep going. So I was like, I don't know why everybody's so friendly and speaking to us. Because I grew up. You don't talk to people like in New York.
Right.
In New York, you go down the street. You don't be greeting everybody. You just get stuff done. So
Right.
that was my first encounter. I was like, whoa. And then one of the first nights, I must admit, I know you remember it too, because I was sitting in your car. Yes, and I will tell it. First of all, I was sitting in the back seat because I'm a freshman, of course, sat in the back seat, and you had some kind of sound system in there that changed my heartbeat. And I've never heard such a bass that hard, that deep. And I couldn't breathe because it was so hard. And so I was just like, oh, wow, this is America. And everything, of course, everything was bigger. I was like, okay,
Right.
this is America. Bigger burgers, bigger people, bigger cars, and the bigger base. So we driving down the street, and it was. Let me say, it was a story I won't
You can
never
tell the
forget.
story. I mean, you can tell the story. I mean, people. I mean, this is what people like to hear. They like to hear our story.
So we, freshmen, first one of the early first nights on campus, and you see some ladies across the street. So of course I'm not too talkative. Again, the quiet guy, just look, and then you were like, hey, you always talk to me like I don't know English. You always talk to me like I'm so stupid. Hey, you like? I'm like, hey, you could use a whole sentence with me. And he's like, you like? And I was just like, hey. So so you crossed the street and drove on to the sidewalk. And I was just like, what is this guy doing? Put down the window and just pointed. You, come here. And I've never, ever seen something like this. And I was just like, oh my God, this is America. So it was funny.
Well,
Yeah.
well, disclaimer. The young lady that I actually said come here and began talking to, I ended up dating for a long time. Stacy. So
And I don't. That's too long for me to remember. I was so flashed, just to drive onto the sidewalk and just.
yeah.
I mean, just even the fact that you talk to a group of women like without. And it was not like, in Germany, it's different. They're like, get out of here or something. But they're like, hey, how you doing? And I was just like, whoa, this is completely different.
It was all in the tone. You got to be, I've from the South, so you got to be respectful.
Oh yes, you always were.
Yeah,
always were.
But you have to let them know that you're actually interested. And what are you willing to do to let them know that you're interested? So maybe I was interested at the time. Might have not been the right thing, but I was interested in getting a ticket to show that I was really interested in you. So I mean, hey, never know. It worked.
Weren't you communication major?
No. Economics.
Okay, but you could have also done double major in communication because you could communicate very well.
yeah. Industrial relations, economics, baby. But those are good times. You know what I mean? Those are some good times. And so after that, the season began. We began practicing. And the one thing that I noticed about you when we hit the court was you were always in tune to what was going on. And I didn't know it's because you were playing at a high level in Berlin, but you were always able to pick up and do the things that coach asked you to do to a T. For us, a lot of us, those things were new, and maybe we didn't pay attention to detail as well as you did. But do you think your background in basketball, playing on the national team and playing in Junior Olympics and all those types of things benefited you a great deal as a freshman at the University of North Carolina?
Oh, definitely, because I had the experience, like you said, national team where you play against the best in the world. And there you have to be very attentive. And
Right.
especially at that time when you're 17, 18, and you play against grown men and some superstars, every move is, vital.
Right.
And you could be knocked out or pushed out or even taken out the game if you did not pay attention. So yes, that definitely helped me a lot. Also, because we all know playing 5 minutes on court is more than, I don't know, 100 practices. So, and then playing against grown men at a young age really, really benefit me,
Right.
But also coming back to you on that side, my first practices, well, actually before practice, meeting Antoine and Vince, and then on court, Also stuff I've never seen before. It's like,
Right.
when I was in Europe, in Germany, I was considered athletic and great defender and could really jump.
Right. Right.
Yeah, then I come to practice. Bless you. I come to practice, and then there's this guy called Vince Carter, and
Yeah.
he's like, he has to duck. He jumps, but he has to duck not to hit his head against the rim without warming up. And then I
Right.
was just like, oh, yeah, I'll just do my left hand layup and right hand layup. It's just 2 points, because he's
Right.
like, oh, why'd you go dunk? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not really stressed yet. And Vince does stuff. I was just like, wow, this guy is next level. And then Antoine, the quickness that he had
Yeah.
and the size, it was also unheard of or I've never seen before in young or older players. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I was going to go to that. How did it feel? Because you not knowing those individuals or knowing who they were at the time, and then being part of that class, you were deemed the three amigos, but the fanfare and the media attention, being a part of that, how was that for you? Because you were in one of the best classes to come to the University of North Carolina, and being a part of that, and all of you guys are 6'7" and above. How was it? Having to take pictures here and interviews here and those types of things. How was that for you?
I mean, I'm very realistic. And yes, we were the three amigos or the three musketeers, and we really got to know each other really well, very fast. Just a simple fact was, it was Dean Smith. He was like, yo, you're the same class, you got to stick together. Two, we were underdogs because we came off a fabulous year, the 94, 95 class. And they was like, yeah, you want to get 20 wins. And of course, that right away put us together. We're like, look, we're going to show everybody. We're not going to make no Carolina tradition of not making at least 20 wins. So that brought us also together. But at the end, I was from that three. Clearly, I was not the superstar. It was Vince and Antoine. So yes, I took a lot of pictures, but if I took a lot, they took X times more. So that was where I had some rest. I could cross the campus or go to class and be like, hey, you tall guy. After the first couple of games, of course, that changed. But
Right.
you know better than me, before Vince ever touched campus, there were posters all over the place and jerseys, and people were crazy. And with Antoine, the same thing. He already committed his junior year in high school to Carolina. So, of course, they definitely had much more fanfare and media attention and everything. And I was the freshman from Germany, where
Right.
people couldn't pronounce my name and they didn't even know what my qualities were.
Right.
So, yeah, but I did what I do. I worked, tried to learn as much as fast as possible. And of course, with Coach Smith and great teammates, of course, that was a lot of fun.
Right. Right. Now, I've never asked you this, but I kind of understand it from my career as well, and in that position. Having those individuals there in the same class with you and knowing you, did it give you some kind of internal push to prove yourself?
Um, Two-part answer. Did it give me a push? No question. To prove myself, no, because I didn't want to prove myself. I wanted to prove to myself that I will work and do whatever I can to be the best player that I can be. And I always found it for me easier to improve and get better if I hang out with people that are better with me. So it is always and for me, it was always easier to play my best and perform my best if I played the top teams, as if I play, you know, a low team, a low team.
Right.
To play on your normal level is for me was always harder. And of course, I was like, look, it was. I mean, the first 3 minutes into practice, I knew I would never jump as high as Vince, or I will never be as fast as Antoine. But can I improve my athleticism? Yes. Can I improve my shooting? Yes. And that's what pushed me and pushed me forward to get better. And it gave me Carolina gave me that space. Coach and all my teammates gave me that support. But like I said, I was always a realist, you know, and I'm realistic and like, look, I will never duck not to hit my head against the rim. So, you know, I don't have to pretend that one day it doesn't matter how many squats I do or how many, you know, things that I practice to jump is never going to be a 45-inch vertical, or I don't know what at the end he had, you know. So, but it definitely pushed myself to be a better player, and it definitely helped, you know, and it was fun. It was a lot of competition, and to this day we had this New Year game. Antoine, Vince, and I was our junior year, and New Year, and we still do this game. I still talk trash about them, you know, to them, and where I beat them, you know, first day of the New Year, and I trash talked for the longest, and they still remember it. But it just shows that we support each other. And we learned from each other, and I learned a lot from them. But everybody on the team also learned something from me. You know, just the fact of, you know, patience, trying to not repeat mistakes, focus. You know, and everybody to this day know if you need me and we are friends, I'm there, no question. And you know what incident I mean we had. I'm there.
Well, you know, the great thing about it is we get to be, honest out here on the Carolina Conversation. But, you know, thinking about it, you know, there was a certain time when we all stayed in Granville together. You know, I never moved off campus. And so we all stayed in Granville together for many years. And I remember one night, I think someone was upset with Antoine, or somebody was messing with Antoine in some regard by telephone calls and things like that. And so I was in the gym and shooting, and then Antoine comes to I see him running in the gym, so I'm shooting. He's running. He's like, Shimon, you know, some people follow me. They follow me, and I was like, what? And he was like, they follow me, and I was like, all right. I said, well, wait a minute. Let me walk out here. Let me see what's going on. So, I walk out. And I look. I said, Antoine, ain't nobody in here. And then he began to tell me, they were calling me in my room and so on and so forth and whatever. And so I said, well, let me put my clothes on and let's go back to Granville. Let's go back to Granville. And so get my clothes on, drive back to Granville. And so, I guess he gets another telephone call from this person. Whatever. So, I said, well, let me see the phone. I said, hey, listen, man, I don't know who this is, but if there's a problem, you make sure you come through Granville. We're sitting here at Granville. We're sitting out front. We ain't running. We sitting right here out in front of Granville. I remember it was me, Twan, and Mactar at this time. And so I said, anybody call Ademola? And I think did you stick your head out the window?
No. Somebody called.
Okay. So that wasn't you that stuck your head out the window. We called upstairs. Adi, man, you need to come downstairs. If somebody mess with Twan, we're gonna see what this is about. And you said, no problem. I'll be there in a minute. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable. But it is the truth. So, we standing outside, and at this time I'm thinking, all right, let me call some of my fraternity brothers and get them over here too, because you just never know how this thing's gonna go. And so about 3, 4 minutes later, here come Ademola coming out the front door of Granville with a 2x4 on his shoulder. Where they at? Where they at? And it was like, whoa, where in the world does he have? But where did he get this 2x4 from? He come out there, and as a people, some people may know, I think it's called, name is Hacksaw Jim Duncan. He's getting wrestling. He's come out with the big 2x4. And you came out with that 2x4, and right then and there, I said, hey, that man there is always ready. He is always ready. But my question to you, Adi, is where did you get that 2x4 from?
Hey, I'm not 100% sure anymore, but you said it took 3 or 4 minutes. Usually it would have taken like 30 seconds. But I think I went out to the back where the trash cans were to look for something because I need my hands because I got to, shoot the next day in practice. So I said, I can't use my hands. I got to use something else. So I ran out back to get something. And that thing was smiling at me. I said, like, come on with me. And there I was.
Yeah. Tank top, I ain't gonna never forget. Tank top, sweatpants, and I don't even think you had the drawstring cleared up. You know what I mean? Because you were holding the sweatpants, and you had on the slides. Came up, where they at? Where they at? I was like, this man got a 2x4, and it kind of settled everything. We kind of laughed a little bit, and the guys never came, but maybe they saw you with the 2x4 and and went in the other direction. But it just let you know the type of love that we have for one another, and we have for one another because we're a close knit group, and so that leads to me to ask, what did you think about it would be your sophomore campaign. It would have been my junior campaign. What were your thoughts about that season?
I think the end of my freshman year, sophomore year, I think laid the foundation for the next 2 years. One, we were happy that we did not break the record and we got more than 20 wins. But it was super motivated. We all were motivated from the day practice / the season was over, that none of us left the gym. Nobody left. We stayed in the gym all summer. Yeah, I had to leave for Europe, for Germany, for the national team. But also there, of course, I kept practicing because we was like, look, we went through so much together in our freshman year. We've learned so much. And it was also an exception that a freshman / a freshman group ever played that much together and played so well in so many minutes that it molded us. And we say, look, we are good now. We learned so much. Next year, we're really going to attack, and we're going to show the ACC and NCAA that we are here to reckon with. So it's like, now to come to your question, is the season started and we were highly focused. The mistakes that we did the year before, we didn't do no more. The jitters and freshman mistakes and all those were gone. You were your junior year. Ed came in, Ed Coda came in, give you some, backup help. He also got some good minutes. Maktar got some more playing time. So we knew we can make mistakes on the perimeter. We got, Maktar in the back who can block shots and just intimidate guys by his presence and his basketball IQ. And then all a camaraderie, was, no question. So we from day one, it was attack mode. It was never like freshman year, or maybe other schools or classes like, okay, let's see how we are going to do this year. No, all of us were like attack, and we want this championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, because we did have we ended up making a Final Four run, and then we had, I think, what we started the ACC off maybe 0-3 or something like that. Something
Exactly.
to that effect. And
Then we had a team meeting.
team meeting. Yeah.
And we had a team meeting. Everybody spoke out.
Mm-hmm.
As usual, it was Mactor and you, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to say much. I just did what I needed, had to be done.
Right.
And yeah, we knew what we had to, who our key guys were. And it came, at times I had the feeling, at that time I did not know so much about football, but it was similar for me as a European to certain football strategies where we were like, okay, these are our key figures. What do we have to do to make them look good and for us to win? It was not about, okay, I want to look good, I want to make points, this and that. It was like, no, efficiency, get W's, and play to our potential. Because at the beginning, our focus was not there as, it was everybody's trying to get a little piece, but it wasn't, the focus was there, but it was not get
Cohesive.
the job done.
Yeah, it
Cohesive.
wasn't
It
cohesive.
wasn't cohesive, and it was not on kill mode.
Right.
It was on let's win and this and that, and we're Carolina, but it was not on kill mode. And after the first 3 games, all of a sudden we had the team meeting, we shifted gears. Yeah, I think we went undefeated.
Yeah, we won a lot of games right there in a row, and I think people began to understand that we were for real, and that was some good times, and a lot of times.
Sorry to interrupt. Was that the sophomore year when we played at Georgia Tech, when you hit that 3-pointer from the top of the key to lead us into overtime? No, you did not hit the 3-pointer. It was you were supposed to shoot, fake, and then you had 3 free throws to bring us in overtime. Was that your sophomore or your junior year? I mean, your junior or your senior? Was my sophomore, your junior or your senior year?
It was you talking about the Maryland game in the ACC tournament.
No. Okay, listen here now. You story that you maybe forgot. We played at Georgia Tech, and yes, it had to be our your junior year, my sophomore, because then after it was with Dean Smith. Then we were down 3. Coach Smith, everybody's nervous. He called a play in the timeout. We were down 3. He says, he drew it up, and then he goes, we're going to do this, that, and that. And as always, it was exactly how he said. And then he said, Shimon, you're going to be open, but don't shoot. And we all like, what? Don't shoot. The guy, make a fake. The guy will jump, force the foul. If you make it, great. We'll be tied and we have a 4-point play. If not, you have 3 free throws, and we all know you're going to make all 3 of them because you were like a 93, 94% free throw shooter. And that's where I looked at Coach Smith. I was just like, and then we went through the play, and it was like a video game. It was exactly how he said. And you got the ball wide open. You did the fake. The guy jumped. You went into him. The ball went in and out, but you had the 3 free throws. Of course, you made all 3 in overtime, and then we slaughtered them at the end. But that's where I was just like, this man is a legend, because he knew everything would happen. It was like, wow.
Oh yeah, I mean he made a believer out of me my freshman year over at North Carolina State, where he would, if you do this, if you do that, and do this, we'll be in a position to win with like 30 seconds to go or something like that. And it happened, and he was like, it make you say, whoa, like you said, whoa, that's that whoa moment. Whoa.
Exactly.
How did he know that? And when you see that about Coach Smith, when you see him do that, then you see it, then it's like you never second guess him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that you would want to anyway, but now, you know, like I tell people all the time, he's one of the very few people that if he say, well, Shaman, you know, I want you to lay down on the ground and roll over 50 times and then get up and jump rope and, and then, you know, do whatever. It was like, I wouldn't even second guess it. I would just get on the ground, roll 50 times, jump rope. You know what I mean? Just, you know, we believed in him. Um,
Because he believed in us
he believed in us.
without a doubt.
Yes. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't take into account as coaches, the psychological effect of being a coach and the impact that you can have on people just psychologically. I don't think that that's given enough emphasis because I think, you know, yeah, X's and O's, that's good. And all those things are great. But if you can't psychologically get your kids to believe in you to where they'll run through a wall for you, or they understand that you have their best interest at hand and everything, then I think it's really hard to establish a program. You may have a good team, but you won't have a program. But more importantly, you won't have guys that are inviting you to their weddings once they get of age, that they hold you in that high regard, that they want you to participate in everything that they do moving forward. And so, you know, Coach Smith, man, he was just that dude, just that dude.
And
And
I
so,
mean, I think all of us got like 2 million stories, and it was exactly what you said. But with at all times, with the highest respect he had for everybody,
yeah,
and but also with his patience. He was so patient and so calm. Like in any timeout, you know, everybody like, yeah, you know, do this,
yeah,
hectic, hectic, and do this, and you know, makes you as a player nervous. And he's like, guys, y'all okay? You good?
yeah,
You good? You okay? Listen here. This, and then he drew it up, and it was picture clear. It was so easy, and then it was exactly how he, you know, and he could even give you a reason. Yeah, the reason I told you that is because this guy's been playing since high school. He always he knew everybody's statistics for 10 years, you know,
yeah,
before and after their career. It was so he was just a living legend.
for sure, living legend. So, um, and so that year, your sophomore year, we go and we have a pretty good season. We had some redemption. We won the ACC championship, and then we go to the Final Four. Um, what were your thoughts about participating and being in that environment, Final Four, your first Final Four?
I mean, another, I mean, huge. You know, it's at that time, I don't know if it still is, was one of the top 3 most seen sport events in the world. You
Mm-hmm.
got the Olympics, I think the Super Bowl, and then NCAA Final Four. Those are the top, or were back in the day, the top 3 most seen sport events. You know, now you have, you know, wrestling or MMA / all the gamers, you know, with
Right.
completely different numbers.
Right.
But back in the days, it was like top 3 in the world, and you on that stage, wow. It was nervous, exciting. Um, yeah, and then but then we, you know, it was we see Arizona, and I think we played Arizona in preseason, and they beat us.
Yep. Yeah.
And it
See.
was Mike Bibby and Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Dickerson because I had to guard him, and I was just like, Coach, this guy is like super fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good defender, and I can, you know, but I got to give him something. You know, I cannot eat, you know, I cannot take away everything because he's just too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember to this day that Dickerson was one of the hardest guys I ever had to guard because he was so fast off the dribble, and then his jumper was so high It was a true jump shot. So even if I got there, I was like, look, I cannot catch up and jump that high. So yeah, Mike Bibby, we all know, tremendous shooter. But Dickerson, I think back in the day, and he was tough. He was really tough. I think his dad was like an ex-pro boxer. So
Yeah.
it was not
That
intimidating
was,
him physically.
that was in the military. Mike D he's actually from here, from Greenville, South Carolina.
So give him a shout out. He was tough because some guys you can bully a little bit, push and stuff. He's like, look, I've been there, done that. So I told Cody, like, I gotta give him something. This guy is just too fast. Yeah, and it was a hard pill to swallow personally, because I thought as a team, we were better. We had more puzzle pieces that were individually better.
Right.
But they had a better day, I would say.
I always say that. I always say to get to the Final Four, it takes skill. It takes skill to get there. To win it all, I think it takes I'm not gonna say it takes a little bit of luck, but it's kind of like
100%. It takes a lot of luck.
Yeah, who's ever playing well just those 2 days.
Exactly. It's 72 hours. It's 72 hours. You play, have a day off, and you play again. And then it's the jitters. It is the, it could be that you have a stomach flu. It could be that you have a bad, you get a call from back home with some bad news that, that it is now or never. And definitely need some luck with it. And we saw a year later that, a team that you think is not as good, they play their best game of their career, of course, now we can talk about it easier. Back in the days, when we were younger, of course, much harder, but it was definitely a lot of fun going there. And we went twice, back to back. I don't know how many other million players don't even get to the bracket, and we go to the Final Four, and then people were like upset and I'm like, look, hey, we got this far. How far did you get? You know what I'm saying? Or how many times did your team make it to the Final Four? So yeah, it was definitely a great time.
Yeah, and so like you said before, not being able to win it your junior year, your sophomore year, going into your junior year, going into my senior year, after the mile run, coach asked us to have a meeting, and we decided to have the meeting immediately as opposed to going home and taking showers. Being in that room that night and Coach Smith announcing that he was going to retire, how did that make you feel?
I mean, there were some rumors, but it was like you couldn't believe it. It's like it's a living legend. You don't never think about that. You don't, because he was such a figure that he was like he would live forever and he would coach forever. That was what like with superstars, you will say, a Ronaldo, a Messi, a Jordan, a LeBron, Kobe, you always think they will play forever and live forever. Yeah. And from here, for his side, you think he will coach forever. And then, then all of a sudden it was just like, what is a dynasty? I think that's a great compare. A dynasty just ends, and you have the leader up there who says, I'm stepping down. It was like you couldn't even believe it. It wasn't that even okay. What's next? Because it was so humongous that it was not. I definitely did not understand it at that moment. Definitely not.
The magnitude.
Yeah, I mean everything, the whole situation. It was like I wouldn't say it was an out of body experience, but you mentioning it right now, I don't know what happened there. Like, I don't know how I was sitting, or what, how it was set. I could not repeat it. But with
Right.
a million other situations, of course, yeah, we did this, we did that. Yeah, I can remember that. My mind was, I don't know, it was, I cannot repeat it. I remember that we were down in the, I think, media room or something. And that's it. And we all just looked at each other, we didn't believe it.
Yeah. 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 That was a like you said, I never looked at it as, when you put it into words, the end of a dynasty. You know what I mean? You know, to be a part of a gentleman of that, that magnitude, and being right there at the end, and being there for him to say, you know what, he's stepping away. I never looked at it in that regard, but now that you say it, it's really one of the biggest moments in college basketball. Really.
Yeah, and
And
we were part of it. It's,
yeah,
I mean, we were in a lot of historic moments, but a lot of times during those times we don't realize it because you are
that's right.
such in the moment.
Right.
Because as an athlete, you are trained to think practice by practice, day by day, and
Right.
not like in the business world where we are now, where you think week, month, year, or decade. Decade is long, but year by year sometimes. The
Yeah.
strategy, we set it up. We have a short, mid, and long-term ideas, solutions. You don't, as an athlete, you train not to think like that. Um, it's so short, and we had so many moments that were, historic, that at that time you don't really understand.
Right. Yeah. And then we were still young adults at that time too. Like you said before, we had to go from probably one of the biggest moments in college basketball history to continuing to play, and knowing the expectation that was going to be placed upon our shoulders. Um, what do you feel like? I know what I understand and feel like the difference was in that next year, but what did you feel like the difference was in your junior year, as opposed to your sophomore year? Though we had some success, what do you feel like was a big improvement and the thoughts of that environment? Trying to win the 1998 NCAA championship.
I mean, that year was, so much happened that year. I mean, you just talked about history. We made history with Coach Gut. That's
Right.
exact same year. I think his record still holds to this day. You know, um, we wrote history there. Um, we stood against so much negativity and people not believing in us, like, oh yeah, this coach, rookie head coach.
Right.
But we were focused, and then historic, another historic thing, six man starting five. Even that word doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does
Even
sound.
when it was introduced to us, we were all like, what are you talking about? So,
What?
what? So that's another historic moment that till that day never was before. Six men starting five. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? But what we did know is, like, look, we have a great chance. We have to keep the torch, burning. We are no mediocre school. We are Carolina, and we have to, produce and represent at all times. And we cannot. It's Carolina. Period. It's for us. It was not many words needed.
Right.
It was It was just like, hey, shut up, let's go. Coach, we believe in Coach Gut. Yes, he's a rookie as a head coach, but internally, inside, nothing changed, except that 6-man rotation. And I think we're that mature and quote unquote professional already to focus on the big prize.
Right.
Yes, we definitely had bumps as a team, individually, everything, but as part of every, team, great team. But we had a goal. We had a goal, and I think we lost three. No, I know we lost 3 games that year, and the 4th was the final game against Utah. So we lost 7 or 8 games in 2 seasons. Not many schools or not many players in the world in any sport can say that. And we've done it. Yes, there were many ups and downs, but I think our camaraderie, our professionalism, our leadership on and off the court, and our history, and we wanted to prove, we wanted to win it also and go as far as we can for Coach, what I'm saying, because he was watching, and he was still there, but not at the games or at practice every day, but still, we wanted to continue the legacy compared to carrying that torch that you have at the Olympics. I'm saying that torch has to keep burning. No weather or storm or rain can turn off or turn off that torch, and we had to carry it on, and we did.
Right. And so, we, of course, we lost in the first round against Utah in a difficult game. And so, you had 2 of your 3 Musketeers leaving University of North Carolina. I myself was a senior. I was leaving. Mac Tall was leaving as a senior. And so you had some intricate pieces that were leaving, but you still had Ed was returning, Brendan was returning, with a good cast of freshmen coming in. But now, Ademola, this is your team. I mean, you're the senior, you're the guy that's in charge. How was that for you to been, the role changes for you, but you were kind of always, like I said, you were very mature for your age and how you handled yourself. But now, with some of the guys that you have been in many wars with going on, leaving the institution, how was it for you, knowing that those guys were leaving and having to, be the leader? I mean, you were the captain.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the true story behind this now I can reveal it on your show, is that in the summertime, the 3 Musketeers, we spoke. You and Mactor were seniors, so it was obvious that you're leaving. Antoine and Vince both begged me asked me if they can stay their senior year. And I told them, no, you have to leave. You have to leave because I need some shooting too. So they said, Ademola, please let me stay. And I said, guys, y'all gotta leave. It's my time now.
Yeah.
So this is the true story now. We're talking about the truth.
Sacrificed enough. It's time
exactly
to shoot this basketball.
I set enough picks for y'all to have alley hoops and all that stuff. It's my time. So can I have a little shine too?
There it is.
So now you heard it. You heard it first. So here we go.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Breaking news.
I mean, everything. They tried. They came. They knocked on my door in the middle of the night. Please. I said, nah, y'all got to go. So no, seriously, it was new. We had great freshmen, but we had also very hungry freshmen. Um, and with Dean Smith not being there, to tame this hunger and hunger that every freshman had. We had too, but it was they did their thing definitely. Um, I tried to lead by example, like I always do. But also at times, of course, I had to get vocal and be like, look, this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
I carried the team as best as I could. And then also there, I did not know that, or was never my focus. Then I also set a record of leading an NCAA team in 4 categories. It was nothing that I planned. I just went out as every night and gave everything I had.
Right.
So that I had, leading the team in 4 categories, and my game winner at Virginia out the corner with a great pass from Ed Cota. Also, great feeling. Any buzzer beater, but of course on the big light in the ACC.
Right.
With 4 seconds to go, perfect pass. That's all from Ed. Knocked down the tray. So that was good. We won more than 20, was also super important for me.
Right.
For all of us, of course. And then the only thing that I, you have not a wish, but it was then the first round we played again. I forgot it was we played a smaller team, and they had a great player.
Weber State,
and their best player was a power forward, and they were all making jokes of him because he had a really small neck. He was like 6'7", but if he had a quote unquote normal neck, he would have been 6'9". I was telling the guys like, yo, never underestimate an opponent. Doesn't matter how he looks, or shot looks, or how he does.
That's right.
So, and he killed us. He really killed us, and I was mad about that already at halftime. And the only thing that I was like, we made it to the Final Four. I mean, made it to the tournament. Happy, great, check. But with the last second shot, it was Ed dribbled down, and it was Max Owens on the right and me on the left. And Max was a fabulous, extremely good, sharp. He was just.
Oh yeah.
You could wake him up 3 a.m. and like, yo, shoot, blindfolded, and it's gone. It's knocked down. And Ed had the decision, because it was not a call. Ed was the 100% boss on the court, was distributing the ball, and both of us were open. And at Virginia, I knocked it down out the corner. He decided to pass it Max. It went in and out. Of course, you always have dreams. Senior year.
Yeah.
Last shot, this and that. I would have at least loved to have taken it. Not saying I would have made it.
Right.
100% not blaming anybody or pointing fingers, but you have a movie in your your head of your career, and I would have just loved to see how you
would have done with that opportunity.
Exactly. So just curious. Of course, we'll never find out, obviously. Until I invent my time machine. So working on that one.
I want 10%. I want 10%.
Oh yeah, no problem. You get 20%. I'm not stingy. You can't. So but that's what I and they were deserving. It was him. He carried the team. We were not. We were very young, and we made the mistake that young teams do, and we were arrogant. And I'm like, never be arrogant. We got the bullseye on our back, and they're trying to come for him, and it's his chance to show that he can play on the high level, and he did it. He used his chance, and he performed. He can only shake his hand, and that was it. That was my college career, and a great times. And till this day, look at us today,
Oh yeah.
Today, the call, you wrote me, I think on Monday, And I told whatever my answer was like, yo, you call, I'm there. It's not a
Yeah,
question. You tell
for
me
sure.
time and place, and I'm there, and let's get it on. So
Yeah.
that's we still have camaraderies, Vince's
Oh,
birthday was yesterday. We
hmm.
all congratulated him.
That's right.
Antoine Mack, everybody. I mean, even
Everybody.
Sam Perkins, everybody, Sean May, everybody was in that group. You
Yeah.
know, even if you weren't in the same class, we all were in the same fraternity, which was the Dean Smith / Carolina fraternity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that you talk about what you were trying to emphasize to that team that had young freshmen. And like you said, Coach Smith was really good at making sure that he helped freshmen understand, what this thing was actually about. Because what a year previously, if you remember, we were doing the press conference for the first round of the tournament against no, that would have been your sophomore year. We were doing a press conference against we were playing Fairfield, and people were asking us, well, when you hear Fairfield, what do you think about Fairfield? And I said, when I hear Fairfield, I think about one of the best teams in the country, and because they're in the NCAA tournament, so on and so forth. And you remember ESPN cut the sound bite, and it was like, when you think of Fairfield, what do you think about? One of the best teams in the country. They kind of made a mockery of it. And then there it was the next night against Fairfield and Winston-Salem. 2 minutes to go left in the game. The game was tied. So you had experienced that, and those freshmen moving 2 years later, they hadn't experienced that. They thought that, hey, you know what? We being Carolina, we can just go out there on the floor and just do what we do, not understanding, this is a whole new season. Everything, everything has changed in this regard. And so, also when you said fraternity, it made me think about when you stayed across the hall from me when I was.
When you were online. Man, I was a couple times, I was just like, you want me to call the ambulance? Or you need some water, you need some food? To this day, one day I looked out there because, got good ears, very
Right.
pay attention, got to see what's going on.
Right.
So, and I open the door and I see you, of course, because you crazy, excuse me, man, was practicing, I don't know, 3, 4, 10 times a day, So, and then you were at the same time online. And I remember you coming home at Granville, and you were walking, our rooms were across exactly opposite from each other, but at the end of the hallway. And you were not walking by yourself. You were leaning against the wall, walking forward because you couldn't hold yourself no more. And I was just like, what? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm like, you're not. So, but again, I don't know what was going on. I don't know, did you come for practice? Because it could have been your 11th practice that day for 2 hours nonstop with, ladies and gentlemen, never do shooting clinic with Shaman, because we did, and I'll tell you how it was. We were in the gym. I'm like, okay, let me do my extra shooting with Mr. Shooting Specialist. Oh, listen here. We're going to shoot 10 shots, 10 makes in a row. This is what you said to me. But mine only count if it's a swish. Left and right. I said, this beep. I said, only count if it's, I'm happy if I make 10 out of 10 jump shots in a row. But, no matter where from. And you talking about, my only count if it's a swish. And then I'm there, and you made it. And then some of them you made, it was a swish, but it touched the back of the rim back to 0. I'm just like, this thing did not touch the back. Yeah. And then it was never do a shooting clinic with you ever.
It helped you. It helped you.
Of course.
It helped you. It helped you.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I told that story to Dennis Schroeder before he made it to the league. about focus and determination and perfectionism, you know, trying to be perfect. It's like, don't make 10 out of 10, 20 or 50 in a row, but you took 50 swishes, you know. And I'm just like, yo, I'm happy if I make 10 out of 10, I'm good. You know, I call it a day, you know, especially in the game. It's like, nah, it only count if it's a swish. And I was just like, whoa. So, and that's why I think also and this is only the stories that I heard, we never spoke about it, is that the practice that you had with Mr. Basketball, Mr. MJ, that I heard of but never seen, because y'all did it some crazy times during the day or night or whatever, that y'all had some shooting competitions or drills. I don't know if it's true, but I'll ask him right here live on your show.
We played. We shot a little bit, but we played. I think it was me, Ed, and Terrence Newby. I think Mike was in there, and we played. We shot around, we were shooting a little bit, and then somehow it got to one-on-one. And things happen.
Hey, I just remember, he was there a couple of times when in the summer or whatever, and then my best story is actually including my brother, because for me I was so happy. I mean, damn, it's Michael
Jordan,
and we were Michael MJ Jordan,
right,
the one and only, and we were playing, and we see him come in, and we're like, don't matter how many times you meet him. And I keep trying to tell people this. It was to meet Michael or to see several times was not because he's Michael, but he was such a great guy that you wanted to hang out with him, because he was just the stories, the aura, the positive aura, not arrogant or not. It was just, he was, some cool guys you want to hang out. Don't matter if he's not a battle player. If he just some dude on the street, he was just cool.
Yeah.
So he comes in, and my brother was there too. He was, hooping in the corner,
right?
And he's shooting. And he told me this story. I fell out, and he goes, he was shooting. He didn't pay attention to the really deep voice. Excuse me, you mind if I shoot with you? And he said, yeah, no problem. And he turns around and he's like, and for him, it's different. I mean, for us, it was, Michael, but for him, not being an active player, he's like, oh, kind of. And when he told me that story, to this day, I was just like, for any kid,
sure,
turn around and it's MJ or Kobe or LeBron, any great player, and boom. And it was one of his couple highlights he had there. And then, later, of course, came in. And the other highlight was when I think my freshman year or my sophomore year in the summertime. And then Stack came and we all played full court. And Stack was destroying, just tearing. It was just like, you were just like, oh, it did everything. And I know he doesn't want to hear it, but I'll tell it anyway. Then Michael came in and he warmed up and he said, I got next. And he's like, yeah, come on, Michael, you ain't got to say you got next. Come on, stop playing. So, and we kept playing, and Michael he went right at him, right at Stack. I don't think he scored for the rest of the night. Again, I'm, Vince, Antoine, everybody there, I'm just like, hey,
we facilitators now. We facilitate.
Thank you. Here's the ball. And there was no cameras back in the days. I was like, dang. They went and they were trash talking. And that's the first time you see real trash talk, live, face to face, and no cameras, no deleting. And you think you the next, blah, brr, and I'm talking about Stack before Michael walked in. He was Michael. He did everything, and like everything. It was just like, wow. you know, that's the superstar. And until Mr. Superstar walked in, and I mean, he still performed, but he didn't do nothing no more. I mean, and maybe the first game he had 50. When Michael was there, he had, I don't know if he had a basket, but it's just those things you talk about, but to be there and actually witness it.
Yeah.
And wow, but I knew Stack never took it personally because he also learned from that and got better and worked harder and went at it. You know what I'm saying? And exactly that attitude most of us had, and we took that also in our post career, in our current career, and him being a head coach now. I know he does that, you know,
Right.
with such a precision and tenacity and to be perfect. So I think he took it as a lesson, you know, because you never lose.
Okay.
You only learn. And but definitely also there, it was great to be in that building when that happened. One of many, many, many stories.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But you know, you've done an awesome job, man. I mean, you've you know, to go on and after you left Carolina, play in the NBA 3 years and then play in Europe and be a great basketball player. But the one thing that I've always enjoyed about you was, like you said before, like you've always been constant in who you are, and you've always been there for us. I mean, you know, you was talking about when I played. You know, I remember the nights that you would hear me and you would open your door and be like, man, like you said, let me get you some water, or you want some ice, or you know, you were just concerned, man, what's happened? You know, like what happened? You know, you've always been that way, and that's why, you know, you're my brother, but I hold you in high regard because you're you, and as we say, you're solid. You know what I mean? You know, you're solid, and they just don't make them like you no more. You know what I mean? They just don't. And you know, we may have not been the team that won the national championship at the University of North Carolina, but as Mactar says, and I truly believe in, we are the closest team that ever played at the University of North Carolina. And man, you know, it's just awesome to see, you know, like, you know, you went from playing, being an athlete to, you know, a great agent, you know what I mean? Like you were talking about Dennis and having him and representing him and then representing kids and athletes in Europe as well as the United States, man. And you know, I think your success comes from just you as a person. You know, your mother did a great job with you. You know what I mean? She did. That's my girl. She's awesome. You know, and everybody, you know, my mom always asks about her. Well, how's Ademola mama doing and stuff like that. You know, we just, you know, I always try to make sure, especially if I had the relationship with the people that I have on my show, I always try to make sure that they get their flowers or their roses. And you may not have gotten them from everybody that probably needed to give them to you, but you're gonna get them from Big Bro right here, man. I appreciate everything that you've been. I appreciate the example that you are, and I love you, man. I love you, and I just know, like you said before, and it's vice versa. It's reciprocated. Whenever you need me, I'm there. You know what I mean? And I hopefully I, you know, you always recite records and history and stuff like that. I think I was the first one to come to Berlin. And was I the first teammate to come to Berlin?
It was either you or Antoine came with when he played for.
So I came by myself though. I came by myself. I didn't
yeah. Then 100%, 100% you, 100%. Yeah. No question. You know, you had a much more European touch. You understood or still understand all the beautiful things that are in Europe and the things that you can see and do here, and were also interested, and you were actually or are engaged. You know what I'm saying? And understand that, you know, you can sit in a car and drive 3 hours or 5 hours in any direction, and you've went through 3 different languages, I don't know, 100 different styles of food and this and that. And not everybody's open for that.
Yeah.
But you were always, and you were in Spain, you learned Spanish. You know what I mean? You were engaged. I mean, you
Yeah.
really, the only few guys who do that, you know what I'm saying, and really see it as a learning, as a chance,
Yeah.
and whatchamacallit, because I love to travel because why? Because you learn, and
Yes.
you can then compare. Because
Yes.
if I would have never left Berlin, my thinking would have been or would be 100% completely different. And I always said you can learn from anybody on and off the court. Doesn't matter how old or young or ethnicity or whatever. You can learn what to do to imitate, or definitely what not to do. So, and y'all have enough experience over there or not to do. So, talking about records, set another record. Just leaving it. Peace.
Right.
Just leaving without saying bye, or handing on down the torch over there a couple of days ago.
Right.
But at least you learned what to do or not to do.
Pretty good. That was a good one. Well, I tell you what, man. I've said this and I mean it. If I'm not presented an opportunity to get back into coaching and teach, what I love to do, we're gonna make the move over to Spain. Yeah, we're gonna make the move over to Spain. So we'll see. Yeah. To live.
So you're gonna be right there. Hey, I'll be there for the weekend. Go on the barbecue. Pick me at the airport. I'm there.
Yeah. No question. I think, like you said before, just allowing my kids to see a different environment, and see how things are done, will be beneficial to their growth as individuals, as people, because you get an understanding of how it feels to be the minority, regardless of what color you are when you go abroad, and it gives you some insight on how to treat people when they're in an environment that they're not accustomed to, and so I think it'll be beneficial, but we'll see what God has in store for sure.
As long as you stay healthy, that's all that's
matters. That's what's important. We'll see how this COVID thing does, but like I said before, man, when it warm up a little bit, anytime you want to shoot down, just go shoot down and kick it, man. I'll be envious of you, but hey, you're my brother. You can enjoy it just like I can.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the high praises.
Man, I told you before, I don't have to praise you when I can just tell the truth. The truth.
That's what it's all about.
I
say it all the time. That's why I say it all the time. It was all my whole life. I said, if you around me, you're going to hear the truth. And the truth hurts sometimes, but it's the truth. So, and I only tell you the truth because I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's up to you to do with it whatever you please to do.
That's right.
But not everybody wants to hear the truth or can handle the truth. Don't come to me saying, hey, trying to, fish for compliments. You say, oh, I don't look good. Yeah, today is not a good day. That's going to be my answer. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you the truth. So
you can do better. You can do better now.
Hey, you got some good days, but today is not one of your top ones.
Well, man, I want to thank you for participating on the Carolina Conversation. It's been an honor, man, and I know the people are very appreciative of you participating and giving us some insight to who Ademola Okulaja is, and we'll be in touch for sure. I'll hit you.
100%.
So we can have a conversation. But what I'm planning on doing is I'm gonna get our whole team on here, and we're gonna get us an hour or two powwow. I think the people like that. All of us collectively.
That would be great.
That'd be great.
I mean, of course, right now we can't do, but perfect would be all live, but by Zoom or whatever.
Yes, Zoom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
I think the other, the Carolina family will enjoy that. So.
100%.
Well, thank you, man. We don't want to hold you too much. I know it's in the evening. Probably want to go grab you something to eat. But love you, man. God bless you, and I'll talk to you.
All right, love you too. Stay out of trouble. Say hi to the fam and stay healthy.
Likewise. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Ademola Okulaja.